I was at the dealership to test the new KTM Adventure, but they didn't have it yet. So I was offered to ride the BMW 1250 GS, and it's lowered. They lower it from the factory, so this is very special. Not many manufacturers do this. I believe only Triumph, and but it's not a smaller bike. It's just lower. It's still the same size bike, so you get to sink down a little bit, and the seat is also lower. So I felt like I'm sitting in a bathtub a little bit. I always thought that this bike looks really big and chunky, and I didn't think that it's actually really nice to ride, but it is. It's very sporty to ride. It's very dynamic, and it has a very low center of gravity, which makes it feel like it's much smaller and lighter than it really actually appears. Still, the tank is quite massive, and I had to lean forward a lot to grab the handlebars. The salesman assured me that there are extensions that bring the handlebar up by a couple of centimeters and closer back to the rider. This would definitely be helpful because I didn't have a lot of space to move around in the bike, and I was sitting on my testicles a lot. I am 164 centimeters tall. The standing position is really good. Even with my short legs, I had a lot of space to stand up and felt very free. Bicycles come in all sizes for all kinds of people. Motorbikes don't, but I understand why, and I appreciate that BMW at least makes an effort. Even though I was wearing a motocross helmet, the wind protection is superb on this bike. I didn't feel any buffeting, and the windshield is adjustable even when you're riding, just by turning a little wheel on the right side at the front. Although when I put the windshield up quite high and I had to look through the windshield, the optics were warped, and it almost made me feel dizzy. As expected, the sound of the Euro 5 motor is quite humble, especially with the stock exhaust that was on. But the motor provides plenty of torque. I constantly caught myself speeding because the motor is so fun and lively, and the wind protection is so superb that it's really hard to feel how fast you're going. The quick shifter and the blipper work well, even though they're not as crisp as I know them from the KTM and the Husqvarnas. This bike feels as much at home on twisty roads as it does on a highway. When the pavement is wet, the electronics interfere, which gives a very high level of safety. I would never have imagined that it would be so easy to throw a 250 kilo motorcycle this size from one side to the other. Turning circle can compete with a bicycle. The electronic suspension makes a bumpy road feel like a highway. Even though I didn't get the chance to take it off-road, I can only imagine its capabilities. Even though the front wheel is only a 19-inch. I feel very comfortable maneuvering this bike in tight spaces. Riding slow in traffic and almost coming to a stand without putting down the feet is very easy because it's very well balanced. I didn't dare to push the bike to its limits in the turns, with the temperature being below 10 degrees Celsius and the streets not always dry. So I didn't touch the ground with the footrest, even though this bike is lower than original. When braking down from quite high speeds, the bike doesn't tilt forward a lot because of the electronic suspension. This is very different to other bikes that I know with similar suspension travel. All in all, I got the impression that BMW really wants to build the best motorbike on the planet. And now I can understand why so many people ride the GS. To me, a motorbike is all about the feeling it gives me when I ride it. And I didn't get hooked on the GS immediately. Maybe I have to ride it again in a couple of years.